Next, we're going to look at a similar concept, but something a little bit different called combinations. And what happens is with combinations is the ordering doesn't matter so much here when we're talking about distinct combinations. So for instance, a state park manages 5 beaches, and we'll label them A, B, C, D, and E just to make it easy to talk about. Due to budget constraints, new restrooms will only be built at 3 of the beaches. And there are actually 10 ways for the state to select the 3 beaches. For instance, we could do beaches A, B, and C, A, B, and D, A, B, and E. We could do A, C, and D, A, C, and E, A, D, and E. We could do beaches B, C, and D, B, C, and E, B, D, and E, or we could do C, D, and E. So there's 10 different ways that we could talk about which 3 beaches we're going to put new public restrooms at. Now, this is different than permutations because, and here's the big difference, in this case, the order doesn't really matter, right? If we select beaches A, B, and C, or beaches B, A, and C, it's the same selection, right? We're just repeating that selection. So here it doesn't matter. It's not that we're choosing the order in which we're going to complete the restrooms, or we're going to do A first, then B second, and C third. That's not what we're asking. We're asking just to choose any 3, right? So if I choose the combination A, B, and C, or B, A, and C, I'm actually choosing the same 3 beaches. I don't need to repeat that over and over again. So this is different than permutations, in which case the ordering is distinct and it does matter. Here, as long as we have that combination, it counts. We don't need to repeat it. So the format is a little bit different here. We do use C for combination instead of P, but you still have that same idea of like N being your total and R being how many you're choosing. So let's look at an example. Let's go to the next page. And actually, I'm just going to rewrite this real quick so we have it. All right. So a state's Department of Transportation plans to develop a new section of interstate highway. They received 16 bids for the project, and the state plans to hire 4 of the bidding companies. So they received 16 bids, and we're going to hire 4. How many different combinations of the 4 companies can be selected? So here you have 16 total companies, and we're going to choose 4 of them. Okay, so we have 16, we're going to choose 4. And again, this is a combination, not a permutation, because the order doesn't matter here. If I select the order of companies that say 1, 2, 3, and 4, or if I select 3, 2, 1, and 4, I've still selected the same 4 companies. It's not going to make a difference. So here we're looking for combinations, not permutations instead. All right, so let's figure out our answer then. So I'm looking at 16 factorial over 16 minus 4 factorial times 4 factorial. So I'm going to just leave this as 16 factorial just for a second. 16 minus 4 here is going to be 12, and then I have 4 factorial. So think about what happens here with our patterns. So for 16, it's 16 times 15 times 14 times 13 times 12, all the way down to 1. And when we do the 12 factorial, we're going to get that same multiplication here of 12 down to 1. So this whole group can really cancel out. And then I have my 4 factorial. So 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Now, if I want to cancel a little bit more, I can here. But now I have a pretty easy multiplication to do. So I have these numbers on top, these numbers on bottom. And when I multiply those out, let's see, I get 1,820 different combinations. And you can also do this on your calculator too. So it's going to be in that same spot. So if I go back to that math button, and again, I do PRB up top for probability. Now you can see you have that factorial there. You have your permutations, but you also have your combinations formula. So I can hit that. This case, I was starting with 16. I'm using my over arrow, and I'm choosing 4. And when I hit enter, there's that 1820. So if you don't want to do as much work by hand, you can still do this on your calculator. So again, your key features here are all under the math button this time, and then over here with the probability features.